Arcadian Vanguard presents the Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Monday, July 17th, 2023. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with Day 2 of New Japan Pro Wrestling's 33rd Annual G1 Climax Tournament, which took place yesterday at the Prefectural Sports Center in Hokkaido, Japan. In D Block matches, Jeff Cobb beat Tetsuya Naito, Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi, Shane Hayes topped Alex Coughlin, and Hiroki Goto went over Toru Yano. In C Block matches, Evil beat Tama Tonga, Eddie Kingston beat Shingo Takagi, Mikey Nichols defeated Hanare, and David Finlay beat Tomohiro Ishii. Day 3 of the G1 Climax is set to take place tomorrow in Sakata, Japan, with the 19th and final event to take place on August 13th in Tokyo. In an update on the legitimate attack on Don Callis that occurred Saturday after the post-Triple Mania press conference in Tijuana, Mexico, AAA executive Conan informed Nick Hausman of House of Wrestling that the person who jumped Callis was not a fan, as it had been previously thought, but was a former security guard visiting friends at the press conference. The ex-security worker who witnessed a worked altercation between Kenny Omega and Konosuke Takeshita at the press conference, with Callis egging on Takeshita, reportedly was not aware that the situation was part of a storyline and attempted to physically restrain Callis, nearly choking him out while also splitting his lip and twisting his ankle. According to Hausman's report, despite the attack, Callis was okay afterward. News regarding Rick Steiner, who had been previously banned from WrestleCon signing appearances after harassing Giselle Shaw with transphobic language at a WrestleCon event last March in Los Angeles. Steiner's ban from WrestleCon events has been lifted by WrestleCon owner Michael Bakikio, who has booked both Rick Steiner and his brother Scott for a signing appearance at the upcoming WrestleCon show in Detroit the first weekend of August. Wrote Bakikio in an official statement, quote, "Now that we are 3 months beyond this event, I feel that Rick has learned a lot from his huge mistake. I know it's easier to cancel people when they make mistakes than to forgive and help educate. However, sometimes I think it's important that we give people a second chance. That being said, Rick will forever be on a zero-tolerance scale moving forward at any of our events. If we are proven wrong, that he has not learned from his mistakes, we will enforce a permanent ban. That is not to imply that everyone gets one free strike." End quote. Bakikio indicated that Steiner had apologized privately for his remarks to fellow wrestlers, Impact Wrestling personnel who had been present, as well as WrestleCon staff, but that Shaw had chosen not to be present for the apology. In All Elite Wrestling and Ring of Honor news, Ian Riccaboni has signed a multi-year deal as an announcer for both AEW and ROH, according to a report from Fightful, which was confirmed on Twitter by Riccaboni himself. Riccaboni's focus will now mainly be on ROH, but he is scheduled to call the next 4 AEW Collision episodes on Saturday nights, while regular Collision announcer Kevin Kelly fulfills his G1 Climax duties for New Japan. Riccaboni's focus will be mainly on ROH, but he is scheduled to call the next 4 AEW Collision episodes on Saturday nights, while regular Collision announcer Kevin Kelly fulfills his G1 Climax duties for New Japan. The signing reportedly took place following Riccaboni's performance on last Saturday night's Collision, which was heavily praised backstage. Riccaboni also revealed that he had been the original first choice for Collision announcer when the show began, but he had recommended Kelly due to his own unwillingness to be away from his family on weekends. In more news from Japan, Takumi Baba captured the 0-1 World Junior Heavyweight title from Leo Osaka last Saturday in the main event of the 5th night of 0-1's 23rd Midsummer Festival in Nagata City Plaza Hall. The loss ended Osaka's reign at 195 days. In news from outside the ring, Jon Moxley took home a gold medal in a jiu-jitsu tournament yesterday at the NAGA Cincinnati Grappling Championship in Ohio, competing in the 30 years and older super heavyweight division. The news was first announced on Twitter by Mark Raimondi of ESPN. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast, And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the wrestling news across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the wrestling news. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.